Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest, and today we're going to ask the question, should you be pulling for Satia? Let's go ahead and dig in. Originally, I was all on board of the Satia train. I was super excited for her. I thought she was one of the cooler units that was coming out. I actually skipped Joom because I was excited for Satia, and I figured, maybe I'll get Joom on one of these other banners that comes out, right? I don't really need Joom, which was like a big mistake in my life. And looking at Satia now as she's coming out, I'm kind of apprehensive. I look at like Lenon coming out as well. I'm probably not going to pull for Lenon. The Ice Crystal Warrior, I definitely will pull for, but at that point, we're probably going to have like a guaranteed level 99 Crystal Warrior banner, right? And honestly, if at that point is coming where I'm like looking forward to pulling for Lenon, do I need Cetia? Like, does Cetia give anything that I don't already have right now besides power to my fire team, right? That's kind of what she brings, is she brings some strong offensive capability besides, Winter Glaciella into your kit for fire. And even then, I look at like Final Fantasy VI is coming out in the near future. And if I'm pulling for fire in like a PvE environment, I don't need Satia. I'm going to have Terra, right? No matter what, I'll probably get Terra while I'm pulling for Celeste, right? You also have to consider we have Celeste and Astoria coming out. There's so much coming out, and Satia doesn't really counter what we have now. And as much as I love her and as cool of a unit as she is, and I'm sure she's going to be very powerful in the right situation, I don't think she's going to be very meta defining at all. And I am very apprehensive about pulling for her. And there's a couple of things in her kit that I am a little concerned about as well. We talked about it in her video, but the fact that she gets a defense lowering ability with being paired with as a unit that has a lot of defense penetration, right? If you're running her with defense penetration, you're gonna have 80% defense penetration, right? And then you're popping off her job level 25 ability, which is going to decrease defense 25. How much defense are you expecting to be running into, right, where you're going to lower the defense and you're going to have 80 defense pen? It just doesn't really add up in my head, right? I'm just like, this kit doesn't fully make sense to me. I feel like you wouldn't be running her with defense pen, or maybe a little bit of defense pen if you're planning on running defense lowering her job level 25 ability. She has a lot of status ailments. She has a lot of buffs that are really good. She has a lot of magic resistance. She's 50% resistance to magic. But I mean, is that going to save you? Is it going to change anything? Probably not. Even her weapon is a little confusing, right? HP 15% for 3 turns. Okay, that's interesting, right? But is it anything compared to, say, Platinum Bow, which has more attack on it, or defense penetration, right? Even Killer Bow is going to be comparable to this weapon. So, unlike other units who have elemental weapons like Joom did, right, with her greatsword that buffs wind element attack up, it just seems like Cetia is kind of sitting there with her missile resistance penetration 40, defense penetration 80, and magic resistance 50%. And it's just like, hey, everyone, I'm over here, even though it's not necessarily a magical attack meta currently. And that's kind of the big problem here. The other problem looking at Satia is her accuracy. Now, we tested on stream with Jaden. We also tested, because Jaden actually has a little bit less dexterity than Satia does. We tested Jaden versus Elena, a maxed out Elena versus a maxed out Jaden, right? Now, keep in mind, a maxed out Jaden has access to more accuracy than Satia does, because Jaden is going to have access to, optimized dexterity up VC cards, optimized, right, everything. Satia, the Brachiosaur VC, I would argue, is not even her best VC. And Jaden only had, after Elena buffed, a 65% chance to hit Elena. So without any accuracy buffs in her kit, without any, you would probably have to sacrifice and put an accuracy up TMR on her. She does get a lot of agility up. She does get, some luck up in her kit. But I don't see her being able to hit Elena or Locke unless you're running an accuracy buff ability, at least be able to hit reliably. When I say reliably, you know, most MMOs that I played, they put the reliability rate at like 85% accuracy, 85 to 90%. So I don't know. I don't know how great she's going to be. Maybe she's a tank buster. She does have the ability to dispel re-raise. A lot of people have pointed out you could put rune bow on her as well for the aim version and go full on accuracy. And that might be the way to go with all the defense penetration that she has and the missile resistance penetration. It's going to be interesting. I don't know what to say in regards to Cetia for how it's going to play out, because she is, you know, a very strong unit, but I don't know if she's going to be strong enough or make a big enough difference in GVG or, you know, kind of PvP in general to actually be put in the main team. And we already know just from preliminary information out on the JP side that you know, Terra is not amazing. She's not going to be the best goddamn fire unit that's ever come out for fire ever. So I'm looking at Satia and I'm thinking, you know, she's going to buff my fire team in a PvE setting. She has sub Viking, which means she has access to launch, which means she will be able to hit cap damage with slash chaining, which sometimes fire units do struggle to hit cap damage. And sometimes not all of the fire units with slash attacks have mastery ability, right? Like you might be taking Seymour, who doesn't have a fire attack mastery. You might be taking Rain, or you will be taking Rain. You may be running, you know, units that are non-conventional. So having her access to have launch and fire slash chaining is going to be pretty good. Pair that with Terra and Terra's fire slash capabilities. I mean, even though like it's difficult for me to even sing her praises in PvE though, because her limit break lowers fire resistance, which Rain does already, and does, I mean, their fire resistance debuff is about the same, but Rain does it in a better way, right? The defense lowering ability that she has is only defense minus 25, and most units are able to decrease defense by about 30. So even her defense decrease is not an optimal decrease in defense. I feel like I want her to be successful as a unit. I want to sell her as this really good unit that could be a lot of fun. I want her to be amazing, but at the end of the day, I don't see her, unless she gets like a huge buff with the Brachiosaur VC, right? That would be the one thing I could see where, you know, maybe she gets like accuracy plus 25 from the Brachiosaur VC. That would be big. That would actually be really big, but I don't see it happening really for her. I see her just being another PvE fire element unit to help kind of buff your fire element team. And that's kind of all I see her role as being. If we're talking, you know, specifically running like mono fire, or looking even into the future with Astoria and Celeste coming as well. There's just so much happening that I don't know. Like Ibarra, for example, is going to be much more relevant as we go into the future than Satia. So like, you know, if Ibarra is going to be much more relevant, why aren't you considering Lenan instead? Even then, I'm not really considering Lenan, but you know, why aren't you considering Lenan instead of Satia? Would be another question. So I actually am going to like officially Diggs seal stamp this as a skip. This is actually going to be the second unit that I'm skipping. So I skipped Joom, and I'm going to skip Satia as well. And I'm going to say, you know, if you have Ibarra, pull for Lenan. If you are going to try and go for your lightning composition, if you have potentially, if you're wanting to save for water, or if you already have a strong ice team, save up for the Ice Crystal Warrior, who's going to be an incredible support unit, kind of billed as the best support unit in the game. He also has access to Sub Calculator. I mean, there's a lot better things coming. Final Fantasy VI is a couple weeks away, so just hold tight. Don't go crazy. You know, hold the wall. We skipped Joom, and I regretted it. We're gonna skip Satia, and I have a feeling I'm not gonna regret this. So, I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. I'm curious to see how many of you guys think I'm batshit crazy in the comments down below. But I will catch you guys next time.